Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australian podcast. I am your host, as usual, former 11-time heavyweight champion Aston Crude, and here today I have a very special guest. So far, we've had the likes of Badass Blade Shaw, Night Stalker Daniel Johnston, Mike Delcano, and of course Andrew Riley. But here today we have none other than former two-time WZWA Backyard Champion, former WZWA Tag Team Champion, former GBYWN Australian Tag Team Champion. I'm talking about one of the most fastest rising stars in backyard wrestling, and not only that, the quickest improving wrestler that I've seen in backyard wrestling for many years. Big Red Ryan Tate.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man, pleasure.
Glad to have you on, bro. We've known each other for a few years now, been in a team together, and we've worked closely together with the booking committee, so this should be an interesting interview. But of course, at first, we always got to talk about the early days, and it's got to happen, bro.
Yeah.
So, the first question is, how did you get into wrestling?
Basically, I've always really been interested in it. I think the furthest I can remember back, and I've got great memory, was probably when my dad decided to record it for no reason, because he hates it. Like, he absolutely hates it. He just recorded it. He recorded an episode of Raw, and the main event was Chris Jericho versus Rob Van Dam for the Undisputed title. And I can just remember at the end, I think it was like a DQ or something, and Rob Van Dam and Ric Flair put Chris Jericho and Vince McMahon in the figure four, and I was just like losing my shit because it was actually such a great show.
Yeah.
But
how old were you?
I think I was about 6 or 7, I think.
What?
I don't know. If I look it up,
Surely, don't make me feel that old. Come on. 6 or 7 years old. When I was watching that, I was almost out of high school.
Oh, man. Yeah, but I've always been interested in it, and I never even thought about being actually wrestling in general. But when I met Lily, my girlfriend Lyle, we actually met on a blind date, and I found out she was a wrestling fan. Like, she was going to like schwa shows and stuff.
Really?
And, yeah, she was going to schwa shows, and
was I wrestling there at that time?
You were.
Oh, really?
One of her first shows was, I think, Ascension. One of those.
I wrestled Felix Young, I think.
Yeah, and she was telling me that she knew, because she was friends with Eli, and she was also friends with Dan Zeppelin, who was doing photography for schwa at the time.
Yeah.
And then she took me to a show down in Midland, like their first show in Midland. And I met Dan, and found out that he had a backyard wrestling federation in his at his house, ICWS. And he was like, "Oh man, you should come down, check it out. You might even get a match if you want." Like, all right, fine. And went down, and then just met all the guys there, and they ended up having they ended up putting me in the match and training me, and yeah. It was,
and that's all it came to be. Well,
yeah, man.
All I asked was how you got into wrestling, and then you cut off all the questions that I had lined up. How did you get into ICWS? Yeah. How did your first match come about? So, okay, let's rewind a little bit. Your first ICWS show. What show was it? Combat in Hell?
Combat in Hell.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, October 16th, 2011.
Okay, Mr. fucking Encyclopedia. Okay. You rock up, you're just going to watch the show from what you get. I mean, Dan said maybe you might get a match.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
At this stage, the roster's booming. We've got so many new guys coming in. We've got, we had Tim Justice, Low Rider, an influx of new guys at the time.
Pretty sure that was Alex Stone. Yeah, I think that was Alex Stone that debuted that show.
Yes, and so at what point of the show did someone come up to you and say, "Do you want a match?" And how did it come about that it ended up being Nick James?
Man, I think it was Daniel Johnston came up to me, and he said, "Oh man, come onto the base. We'll teach you some stuff." I was like, "Okay, all right." So went did some bumping, took some clotheslines and stuff like that. And I think because originally Nick was supposed to be facing Dante that show.
Was he?
I think
really?
so. I can't
what
remember.
A weird match.
I can't remember.
I didn't think Nick was going to be wrestling at all.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't wrestled in a few months.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something on that ICWS thread, and they made like one of the matches that they put up was Dante versus Wicked Nick.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was like, okay. So I think DJ went and asked Nick, and Nick, him being himself, was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like,
from my memories, he was a little bit apprehensive of doing it.
okay.
I think because you were new and he didn't know you or whatever. But okay, so the match is set.
Yep.
Are you nervous?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Are you thinking, okay, I've only done 5 minutes, 10 minutes of training with DJ. Now I've got to go out there and actually wrestle.
Yeah.
Did you think to yourself, I've never done this before? Had you ever mucked around with anyone before and wrestled or anything? No?
Never. Had no experience beforehand.
Interesting.
Whatsoever.
Okay, so the match goes on. It's what? How long? 45 seconds?
It's about 40 seconds. I go in. I take 2 clotheslines because Nick just charges the ring after I come out. Take 3 leg drops. I hit him with a DDT.
You taunt to the crowd.
I taunt to the crowd, and then I get rolled up. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
And the crowd were going nuts.
Yeah,
hey?
the crowd
it was such a short match, but it was all of a sudden over in a minute. Not even a minute.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, despite the fact it only went 40 seconds.
Yeah, when I came out, it was just so all freaking adrenaline rush and a half.
Yeah.
And just afterwards, I was so it was such a hot day too. I was so puffed out at the end of it. And I was like, shit, that was only 40 seconds.
Oh man. But I bet those 40 seconds felt like,
Yeah, it felt like it was amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I was
okay. So, your Big Red, Ryan Tate. You had your first show. How did Big Red come about?
Big Red came about. It was.
This is all actually discussed in an upcoming documentary.
Oh yeah,
on Ryan Tate's career. We'll talk about that later. But continue.
Yeah. Well, I was talking. I was added to the ICWS thread, and I just immediately was like, "Oh, what should I call myself? What should my gimmick be? Should I be a face? Should I be a heel?" And I think the original idea was for me to be a heel, but I just came out and was a good guy. I don't know how it went like that, but it just happened. And I was talking to, I think it was Daniel Johnston, and I was just asking him "Oh, what kind of attributes can I bring to ICWS?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe colourful character or something like that." I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a red singlet. Haha, I can be Big Red. Oh, that's ironic."
Because
they were like, "Oh, that sounds funny. That's ironic. People will get it. It'll work. Just be Big Red."
And it did, and it's still your nickname to this day.
Yeah. And then how Ryan Tate came about, I just asked in the thread who watched your name. First person to say something was Ice and Chaos. Dark Ice, Kill Chaos. They were just like, "Ryan Tate, just be Ryan Tate." I was like, all right, fine.
Right,
Big Red Ryan Tate it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we move on from Cold Day in Hell, and we move on to Halloween Hell.
Yep.
2011. Now, I remember this match. It didn't go very well. It was you and Lowrider. I think you guys... Well, he was quite new, and you were quite new. It might have been a bit of a mistake putting 2 rookies in there against each other.
I think that was Low's fourth show.
I think, Cold Day in Hell, he wrestled me.
Yeah.
That was his 3rd match.
Yeah.
So it went from that to wrestling a new guy.
Then
I remember one distinct spot where you both ran at each other and nothing happened.
Yes.
I remember seeing that going like, oh no, that's a bad thing.
Went completely blank. I felt so bad after that. I was like, oh shit.
It's okay. These things happen, bro.
It was my first major botch. So.
Yeah, and it was your first proper match as well. I mean,
I don't know. I think it was just not really knowing what his style was or how to work with him or anything, because once again we're both new. I don't really know what I'm doing, so...
Would you say it wasn't a very good match?
No. There were some good points, him jumping like a freaking, I don't know, he jumped like Kofi Kingston. I did a spine buster on him and he just flew. It's incredible. And then that, and I think the finish was pretty good because I wanted to do something new. So I did like a Hearts of Pain or something. Made him tap
Oh
out,
yeah,
so
that's right. You used that. Why did you not use that submission after that?
I couldn't do it on anybody.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was so awkward to do. Like I could still do it if I wanted to, but there's so many people that couldn't really take it because it's just like.
Now the
awkward.
Koji clutch is so.
Oh yeah.
You know, I can't think of the word. The Koji clutch is
Over or something.
Yeah,
you
know,
over?
people know that that's your move.
Yeah,
There's a specific
it's
word,
cement,
but
like
I've had a long day at work. I'm tired. Okay, so from there, you go from low rider, and it appears maybe ICWS are thinking, okay, we've got to protect Ryan a little bit here. We've got to put him in there with some veterans. So next match, boom, third match in your career, you're against former heavyweight champion Dan Zeppelin.
Oh man, I was really looking forward to actually getting the face down. I wasn't expecting to face him so soon though. I was like kind of build up to it, but I was still happy with it. The match went all right. We had planned it. I think Dan or myself planned most of it. I think there was I still was making a few mistakes. Like I almost forgot to kick out of he did like a final cut or something, or something like that. Almost forgot to kick out. That was right. That was like the first time I ever hit the fisherman, and everyone just popped like crazy because it looked like I just.
You bridged that one, didn't you? Didn't you hit him with it and you bridged it?
No, I went straight for a pin after. I think it looked like it.
Because early on, weren't you doing that fisherman, but you're also getting it into a pin when you did it?
I think that was the original idea, but I don't know. Too awkward, maybe. Like it just went for a normal cover afterwards.
Okay. So, how do you feel the match with Dan went?
I think it went really well. Like there was a few stuff ups, but it was the only thing I think I regret was coming out like with I had like tinsel around my neck and came like Hulk Hogan or some shit. Stupid.
Oh well, you did that at the Halloween Hell. You had
I tried to bring like the whole theatric,
the colourful character.
Colourful character, exactly. Yeah.
So you're thinking about it, and at least you're doing something different.
Yeah,
that's
at least
good.
I'm trying. Yeah.
So the next show is ICWS In Your Yard, and this is the show that I booked because Chris Zeppelin was stressed out like hell. So I offered, I hadn't booked a show in a year. And I was really looking forward to, coming up with the ideas of the matches and finishes and all that. So I decided to put you against Declan Diamond, a.k.a. Daniel Johnston. So you go from Dan Zeppelin to Daniel Johnston. What's the difference in working between, with Dan Zeppelin and Daniel Johnston? Two veterans, but obviously two very different styles.
Well, obviously they both have the same kind of experience, but the styles are obviously different as well, because DJ with his limitations, with his cerebral palsy. Like I was kind of worried. Like I don't know if what if I do something wrong? And I heard him by accident. Like I was kind of stressing out about it. But he was he planned the whole thing, and we just went out there. And I
know he's really proud of that, man.
Yeah, I was listening to that other podcast, and I'm happy he's proud of it too, because I am as well, because it went so well. It went for about couple of minutes. It was so fast paced.
I think he said it was like 6 or 7 minutes.
6 or 7 minutes, yeah.
Fast paced.
So fast paced.
And he said that was the first time he'd done a match of that style, fast paced.
Yeah, I was really...
Which is good.
Yeah, really surprised with that. And I felt good because it was a good way to open the show, because I just came out like a house on fire, just charged him and attacked him, and it was... Yeah, people were going crazy, so... and DJ got the win. But I thought we put on I'd say worthy match, because there's so many good matches on that card.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like he did a good match. I was happy with it. He was really good to work with, and I'm really, really looking forward to facing him again. Like
May 16th.
May
curtain
16th,
call.
It's like 2-3 years in the making. For us, it's DJ versus Tate too. Like,
it's funny, isn't it, that there are times you and someone else can be in the same federation for 3 years or so and have not touched that whole time, because there's so many other people to wrestle and all that. Like, I haven't wrestled Chaos since 2011.
Like, same with me. Like, I versed Dan Zeppelin in my third match ever, and that was in ICWS in 2011. I only just faced him for only the second time at the last show.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time. Like, there are times where, say, like Rex Regan and Dark Ice will have like a 3-match series or whatever. They'll get a lot out of that. Then you might wrestle someone once, and then you don't wrestle them for 3.5 years. It's kind of the way it is. So from there's a rematch between you and Low Rider. Was there any build to this, or was it just...
I think it was just kind of put together, because Low was doing the thing with Aaron, and we were supposed to do that whole tag tournament thing, which didn't come about.
That's right, Low and Three Dog were going to be forced to team together.
Yeah, they'd be forced to team together, so...
Who are you going to team with?
I think I was going to team with Alex, and that was going to be the whole point of starting. We were...
I'm starting to remember. I was supposed to tag with Wicked Nick James. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
It's a shame that tournament didn't take place.
Yeah. But I think wasn't it because people were all trying to get all these feuds just done just by kind of the similar thing, say their partner just turns in or something, and then they just start a feud or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think maybe just inconvenient for whatever booking they had planned.
Yeah.
To do a whole show as a tag tournament might have been a bit hard for them at the time.
So we had so many people.
So who won that rematch with you and Low?
That was Low. Low went over that time, so we were one apiece. Just so he could continue on his story with Aaron, because Aaron was there ringside or base side to see if Low could actually win the match fairly, and he did. And then afterwards, he just dropped Aaron and just cracked him over the head with a chair, cracked me over the head with a chair as well.
Okay.
So, yeah,
and from there, it moves on to the Rising Star Challenge at Insurgents 2012.
Oh man!
And that kicked off a big feud, your first proper feud with Alex Stone. So far, you've just been having matches. Now you're getting a feud. So, take us through this planning process of the Rising Star Challenge, and then...
The Rising Star was really, really frustrating to actually plan with the three guys. I think it was with guys kept saying it's a 4-way, there's no DQ, let's make it hardcore, which would be a fucking clusterfuck, which is what Alex and I would.
Let me guess, it was Tim and Lowe who wanted to make it hardcore.
I believe so, yeah. I think I can't remember. I think I planned the majority of it, and when the match actually came about, everything was just done to a T, and it ended up being great. So weapons were needed. You don't need to have a stellar match with just weapons. You don't need to go all out. And then everything just went to plan, which was awesome. And I can't remember if it was Chris or someone who said to me because I eliminated both Low and Tim and just looked dominant, and I was gonna dominate the match and just win the whole thing. But then Alex just did the cheat and rolled me up, hold the side of the base, and then that just kicked off the feud from there.
He held the side of the base. If you're holding the side of the base, isn't that mean he's pulling himself away from you?
Yeah, it looked awkward. It looked as if he was just going to roll off.
Gotta love backyard wrestling.
Gotta love it, yeah.
So during this time, before we get more into this Alex Stone stuff, what's your relationship like with Chris Zeppelin?
I had a really good relationship with Chris Zeppelin. I was always asking him what am I doing? What do you need? What do you need me to do? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? I threw in maybe an idea or two.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I say, what if Alex, for the upcoming feud with me and Alex, what if I face him for this or in this stipulation or something.
Yeah.
I had so many ideas.
Was it mainly just talking to Chris Zeppelin about it, or did you talk to DJ about it too, or were you just mainly talking to Chris?
I think it was just Chris mainly, because I was just talking mainly to Chris at that time.
I think during that time there was a bit of a power struggle between DJ and Chris, and DJ was being a bit left out of what was going on and all that.
Yeah.
So I was just interested to see if you were talking to both of them at the same time over the whole situation. Okay, so you start a feud with Alex Stone. You have your first singles match against each other at Twisted Metal 6. Awesome match.
Such a great match.
You guys just have that chemistry.
Yeah, for someone that I hardly knew, and we just clicked, just had that chemistry, and we put on that great match. Even in the Rising Star match, we had our little bit where it was just us two, and we were going back and forth, and it was just great. And I was like, man, like I can't wait to do more with this. And then we had the match at Twisted Metal, and we just did it again. It was we just clicked. Everything was crisp. There was like no problems. Like it was so easy to because he knew my stuff, I knew his stuff. It was so easy to just.
There's just some of those people out there that you have that chemistry with. Like, I'll say, I don't think me and Alex don't have chemistry. I think we had to work hard to have a good match with one another. I don't know what it was, but first time we had a match, we were working hard, but it just didn't seem to click. So the next time it came around, we really worked hard to try and make it a good match. But there are just some of those people out there you have that instant chemistry with, and you and Alex Stone definitely had that.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it was what was that match? Alex ended up going over in that match. We did a spot where the ref was knocked out. He hit me. I think he hit me with a chair. Went for a pin. I reversed it. I went for the Koji. He tapped out, and everyone was going crazy because I was like, "Oh yeah, he should have won," but no, the ref was out. Got the ref up. Alex is with the game over. Pins me, wins. Then I lay him out with a chair afterwards, which would set up the following show.
Yeah. Radical Movement, Street Fight, holy shit. This match brought you to the game.
Yes.
Okay, you had some good matches. The last 3 matches, well, no, the last 5 were decent. You done good, and it showed the improvement you were making. Dan Zeppelin, good match. Few stuff-ups here and there. Declan Diamond, solid match, no stuff-ups. Low Rider, solid match, no stuff-ups. Rising Star Challenge, really good. First match with Alex, excellent. Feud-ending match, amazing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what it was. I think it was because like I was in year 12 and I was like having exams and shit. I was like, fuck. This was like the weekend after I had finished, and I was like, man, I just cannot. Like, I'm so glad that's fucking over. I can get to wrestling and get my mind in the game, and then I just came out just like out of control.
Unlike Donkey Kong.
Yes, like I was like just so much adrenaline. I was just like ready to just kick some fucking ass. Like, that's all I wanted to do. Yeah. So like such a great match. Like just out came out, he did the whole thing where he said, "Oh, doctor said I'm sick. I'll just leave." Just charging, and the crowd's going nuts, just beating the shit out of him, just yelling at him, "You don't fuck with me. You don't fuck with me." Threw him back in, and we just tore the house down. And I think when you did your in Fury's Inferno, I think we got match of the day for that. I'm not sure.
Most likely, yeah. But I mean, that was Radical Movement, as far as I'm concerned, was the best ICWS show of all time.
Great show.
You had Nick Errol versus EQG, amazing match. You had fucking, I think Del Cano was against
Tim.
Yeah, that was an amazing main event.
Had Knuckles and Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. And the crowd was just hot for everything.
Yeah, I think I was against Chaos or something, or Ice or Chaos or something like that. But every match on that show was just top notch, and that is an era that I miss more than anything. I mean, I miss XCW, but I miss that part of ICWS. What are your thoughts on, looking back now, this part of your time in backyard wrestling? Do you miss that?
I really miss it, because that was like the golden era of ICW, as you just said, because like I was so happy to just come to shows. It was such a great atmosphere there, and when it just, now that we look at it now, it's just died down. It's just really sad to look back on it.
It is sad.
Looking back on like those, like say glory days, I'd say, just like very fond memories, and I wish we could just go back to that someday. But
it's a shame that we know.
Yeah,
there's no way we're going to go back to it, because we can't do it at the Z Arena anymore, so that atmosphere won't be there. If we do it again, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Okay, so from there, who pitches you the idea to start this feud with Jack Wallace?
To be honest, I can't really remember, because
Mr. Encyclopedia has been stumped by the interviewer of interviewers, Aston Crude.
Don't expect me
to remember. You better hear right here,
everything.
people.
Don't expect me to remember fucking everything. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, come on, mate.
Yeah. So I can't remember. I think Jack had come to ICWS. He was in a showcase against Jacob at Twisted Metal, and like blew everyone away. It was like great matches. Because originally I thought, because seeing them on trampolines and stuff, I thought, man, these guys are fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then they came and did this match, and then boom, shock factor, blew everyone away. And I was like, man, I'd like to wrestle.
It was obvious that the trampoline was hindering their
exactly.
skills.
Yeah, it was trampoline, not them. Like,
yeah.
I think it was me. I think I was like, oh, okay, I want to face one of these guys. Like, and I think I talked to Chris, and I was like, hey man, can I get a match with, say, Jack Wallace or something? And he's like, all right, cool. We might even be able to turn it into a feud. I can't remember if it was Chris or DJ, but I was like, all right, cool. So we'll do that. And first match, my God,
was that a bad match? I can't remember. I don't think I was there that show.
No, you weren't. I don't think you weren't there that show. That match, like, I think we both felt like it. I think to others it may look good, but I think we just didn't feel that it was.
It didn't click.
It didn't.
Maybe you two. Did you two? You didn't know each other very well.
We didn't know each other very well, but we were planning that one match for ages. But I think because we just planned so much, when it got onto the day, we both went blank, and we couldn't remember shit.
Because I didn't see the match, but I heard that from a few accounts. From what I remember, it didn't go the way that you both wanted it to go.
No, it didn't. We had quite a lot of stuff planned. But no, we just went completely blank on the day, and we just trying to improvise, and just didn't go that well. And hell, I even did a fake blood spot.
Oh, okay.
He gave me a drop toe hold onto the ladder, and then I did that. I decided, this would be different. Let's do a count out win.
Oh, okay.
So he won.
So
Jack
won by count
Jack
out.
won by count out.
Well, that's a big win for him. Cause,
yeah.
I mean, you're on the rise, you're on the rise, and then this new guy suddenly gets a count-out win over you. That's interesting storytelling and a good way to introduce the Jack Wallace character, as far as I'm concerned. And I think, it showed how good of a booker Chris Zeppelin was.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to the next show. I'm not sure which show it is, but it's the Pick Your Poison.
Day of Destiny.
Day of Destiny. Okay, I wasn't there for that either. No, I wasn't.
Wait, Day of Destiny, you versed Mike Delcano. Yeah, you versed...
I thought Day of Destiny, he dropped the belt to Mykonos.
That
was the show. I didn't go to that show because I didn't see that match. But so whose idea is this Pick Your Poison thing? And you wrestled EQG, you lost to EQG. Tell us your thoughts on losing to EQG, if you were happy with it, if you weren't happy with it. I'm going to go grab a beer. You keep talking. I'll be back in 5 seconds.
I think originally, Chris thought of the Pick Your Poison idea. The EQG thing, I was completely happy with it because one of the guys was like, how about we do a swerve, we have EQG win, and have Jack cost Ryan the match. I was like, yes, let's do that. I'm happy with that. Because I'm the kind of person who doesn't give a shit who I put over, as long as
it's something different at the same time.
I'll make someone look good.
No one expects you
I
to
was
lose
so
to
excited
EQG.
for this. I was so excited for this. And I went out. They did my thing. Jack, ref. Once again, we did like a ref thing. Ref got knocked out. Jack threw a chair at me, woke the ref up, and the ref just suddenly was like, "Oh, you used the chair on him." When we're both just standing there, just awkwardly.
Yeah.
And the ref calls for the DQ.
Oh, so you lost by DQ.
Yeah, I lost by DQ.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't a pin.
EQG actually.
But he holds a victory over you.
Yeah, he holds a victory over me.
You never beat him.
I never beat him.
You never beat EQG.
Never beaten. El Queso Grande is the one person Big Red has never beaten.
You can't beat him, man.
Just saying that.
Okay, and what was Jack Wallace's Pick Your Poison match?
He versed Knuckles.
Oh, God, that was a horrible match from what I heard.
Man, like, as you said before,
that's the epitome of no chemistry.
No chemistry at all.
It's not good to put Nemanja in a match with someone who's less experienced.
Yeah,
I find. If you put him in there with someone like a Dan Zeppelin or a I don't know, Clint Marshall, Mike Delcano, it's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
Okay, so that happened, and then there's a rematch at the following show, Halloween Hell. I believe this is the show with the infamous kendo stick shot.
Oh, fuck. That was amazing. This show, I think it was Jack who wanted it to be hardcore. I didn't give two shits if it was hardcore or not. But I was like, all right, cool. Feud ender, yeah, let's do a hardcore match again. Whatever. We went out there and it was an okay match. There was a lot of kind of stuff. There was a few stuff up. So we tried to do another like fake blood spot because the story with he busted me up in that last show and whatever. Like he put me in put my head in the shed and just cracked a chair through the door, and I just awkwardly tried to grab the fake blood capsule thing from my face, and then I held it in my hand for like a good 5 minutes when they were just beating me down. I just had to pass it to I think it was Dynamo or Monet.
Would you say you guys are struggling to have a good match with one another? Maybe the chemistry's not quite there.
Yeah, this was only our second match, and and the chemistry still wasn't there. But it was better than what happened in the first.
Yeah, if you don't have chemistry, it'll take a couple of matches for you to have that.
It was slowly building up.
Yeah,
and then we get to this point where I've done the fake blood thing. Jack actually hit me in the back with a kendo stick. I said to him, I'm going to grab a kendo stick. I pretty much made it clear that I was going to grab a kendo stick and then try to hit Jack. So he swings the kendo stick, I grab it on my arm, I just take it, swing it like a freaking freight train, and I smack him over the side of the face. And all I hear is you go, "That was sick!" Like,
that was sick.
That was sick. Fucking hell. You doing like some commentary? Like, and I just marked out like a motherfucker. Like, so fucking good.
Do you remember that clip got put on Facebook and there was a shitstorm?
Yeah, I think it was Craven or someone who had a big bitch about it.
Big bitch about
Oh, man. Like, whatever, dude. Cool. Like, these kids in the backyard who've just done a fucking amazing thing. Like, guy got hit in the head with a stick. Like, you're ruining wrestling. You're ruining the business, making it look bad.
Yeah, and I know he apologised for
that.
Yeah,
he did apologise for it, yeah.
Okay, so this same show.
Yeah.
Chris Zeppelin. Whose idea is this? Why are you the representative of the ICWS?
I think it was originally Chris had come up with an idea. He had posted a file or something in the thread, and he had an idea for how the show was going to go about. And this segment was in that. And I was just saying.
So Chris, this is when Radical Movement's over.
Yes, and Chris had posted all this thing. There was like all these things. There was like Alex. There was like something saying like Alex was going to cash in his rising star on Mykonos and win it. And then they had this segment where Chris was going to come out and he was going to just act as if he just rocked up to the show. He didn't know there was a show on. He's the general manager. He should know about all this crap that's going on. And saying he's not going to leave and all that crap. And then the last person to come out and confront him is me. So I just come out and I just get the mic and say, "You've lost the plot. You're like, you're out of your mind. You turning your back on these people, and I think it'd be better off if you just left." And that was just, I think it was pretty. I'm pretty happy with that promo because it was like first time.
I think you did a good job with it.
Yeah,
and I was happy to be involved in picking up and taking him out of the
all the guys
arena.
just. Or if you look back on the footage and back when there was like the barbecue area, you just hear Dan Zeppelin behind the camera. He says SPWS, and you just see Ice Cats pop up, and then they just come in, and everyone just comes in and just takes them away.
I love that. Because Chris Zeppelin is just flopping like so funny. He's just flopping like a fish. He gets grabbed first, and as soon as he gets grabbed, he's like, doing the same old. Hey, get your hands off me. Who do you think? Get your hands. I'm the general manager. Get your hands off me. And I thought he was just such a perfect heel, and it's a shame that this feud didn't end up really eventuating.
That was a shame. I can't even remember how the feud was going to end, but I knew that Chris was gonna. I think he was gonna bring in. I think it was you, And we were gonna.
That was afterward.
Yeah,
that was afterward.
Oh,
At first, it was going to be Knuckles, right?
Yeah, it was going to be Knuckles.
Like, before we get to Knuckles, you get a match with Chaos.
Yeah.
Is there anything to that, or was it just for? Was it the In Your Yard tapings?
No, versus Chaos. That was at Season's Beatings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that just a match?
I think it was just a one-off match, and first time we'd ever faced, and back when like everyone who had met Chaos and Ice were just like, oh, these are the fucking scary guys. Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked or whatever. And I just went into it, and we had quite a good match. Like Chaos even thought of a spot where he had me in a gory special, and I rolled out of it, arm dragged him and stuff. It was really good.
Oh, cool.
Like I think I did like I tried to attempt a flipping senton off the slide, and it turned into like a flying headbutt. Just jump, dive, and just
Yeah.
and we did some cool stuff. Like I took a dragon suplex from the outside of the base onto the base, and I just broke my neck. It was a cool match.
Nice.
Yeah, just a once-off match, and
no involvement with Chris Zeppelin.
hadn't even talked to him, and we had great chemistry.
Was Chris Zeppelin not on the show?
Chris Zeppelin had
character?
nothing to do with that show. He was not on the show. At all.
Okay, so they must have been just waiting for the next. So we go to the In Your Yard tapings.
Yep.
For those playing at home, at this stage of ICWS, they were planning to change the format of their shows, and they were going to do tapings called In Your Yard Episode 1, Episode 2, etc., all building to mid-year being Twisted Metal. Then they would do In Your Yard episodes, all building up to Season's Beatings. So, you wrestle Knuckles.
Yeah.
How did the match go? And was it supposed to continue from there with Knuckles, or what happened? Because the feud with Chris Zeppelin obviously ended after this.
I'm unaware if I was supposed to do anything else with Knuckles afterwards, but the whole idea was Chris Zeppelin has come out and he's got a hired gun. And
an ICWS original.
An ICWS original, and he brings out Knuckles, and everyone's just losing their shit because it's just like out of the blue heel turn for Knuckles after him dominating and like getting managed by DJ and being such a like.
And the funny thing is, the next show, which was his last match, he was back to being a baby.
Yeah, he's back to being a babyface. Yeah, like backyard wrestling. Yeah, so we did that. We had the match. Like he was weird to work with. Like I feel like I've never worked with anyone like anything like that. I can't really describe it. Just like all socks, just stand there doing all the monster things, just shoving people out of the way.
I don't know how to explain it. He's unorthodox.
Unorthodox, yeah, that's the word.
And he's not athletic, but he's strong, and he doesn't move the way other backyard wrestlers move.
Yeah.
He's very, maybe he's got, concrete shoes kind of thing.
Concrete shoes is a great description.
Yeah, like he doesn't move around a lot, so you've really got to work hard to get some athleticism out of him, and to make the match get a bit more movement in the match. You've got to work hard to get him to do that. But that's not saying he's a bad wrestler or anything.
Not at all.
Knuckles was awesome.
He's awesome.
He just had his own style.
Yeah.
So who won that match?
Surprisingly, I did. It was a bit of a swerve because it was like really one-sided match. I just got the shit kicked out of me, just getting flipped around and all that stuff. I got a couple of comebacks in. Then I got I think the ending of the match. I had hit like a skull-crushing finale on Knuckles, and then he completely no-selled the cover. I kicked out at one. I come in, he does his freaking Dragon Ball Z thing.
Yeah.
Picks me up, hooks me for the Knuckles lock. I was supposed to kind of roll into like a inside cradle, but it just ended up being a normal pinfall, and I ended up winning. And then, it was just it was okay match. It's just a shame that we didn't do anything else. We didn't get to do anything else afterwards.
Yeah. I pitched this idea that because Knuckles was going to retire.
Yeah.
So I said, well, how about Chris Zeppelin gets me as his representative to do his bidding, and I'll be the one that's helping him try and kill what he created. Because of all these new young stars coming through, all the older ICWS guys are leaving. So I was pitching an idea to start a little stable with me, DJ, and Chris Zeppelin, and I thought the mic work from us would be incredible, and to have us be the representatives of the ICWS trying to kill the company, I thought that would have worked really well. But unfortunately, things didn't work out that way.
Yeah, same thing on the whole Chris thing afterwards, like the only thing we did after that match was I got speared. Chris got in my face, he walked off, and I just spat, and it just got him right in the elbow or something like that. And that's it. That's all she wrote. That we didn't do anything else after that.
So I'm guessing, at this time, this is when Chris Zeppelin's losing interest in backyard wrestling. So what's your relationship with him like now? Are you messaging him and he's not really interested?
I haven't really talked to him in just ages. I think the last time I saw Chris was at he came to a WZWA show. We talked.
But at this time, in ICWS... Not really, no. Communicating much.
No. Last time I saw him was at the last ICWS show we had, and that was pretty much it. I haven't talked to him since.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's a real shame we don't talk as much, but what can you do?
So, I mean, after the In Your Yard tapings, we don't do any shows for quite some time.
Yeah. It's like
but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, pops up Twisted Metal 7.
Yeah.
And you put in there against JD Flame.
Yes.
Whose idea was this? And the match was awesome, by the way. It was a great way to start the show.
I think it was just put together just randomly.
Yeah. Because JD Flame hadn't wrestled for a while.
No.
I believe that was his last match in ICWS.
Yeah, last match in ICWS.
Yeah.
They just said, hey, you facing JD? I'm like, cool. Who's going over? And they're like, oh, you're going over. I'm like, really?
All right,
like,
so
I wasn't because when there's someone more experienced than me and they say, oh, you're going over. Like, say for example, when they said I think it was Dan, because he was starting booking with ICWS or something like that, or booking more, and he just said to me, oh, you're beating up Willis at the next show, by the way. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I was so I was like, alright, and then the same thing with JD Flame. I'm like, wow, is this going to build up to something? Like, yeah. So, I just had the match with JD, and then, boom, just chemistry again. We had such a great match. Everyone lose it. It's a great way to start the show. Everyone was happy. We did all this shit. Like, we had, like, such a great, like, way to go into the finish. But, I think I have a thing for having a good match if the ref gets knocked out or something.
Okay.
Or something good happens. Like, knocked out the ref, poor Zach, on his first day as ICWS ref. Just knocked out. Cut on the outside, throws me back in, just a slow crawl and then back to the pin. Just probably the best false finish I've ever done. Just kick at last minute. Then we just go into the teasing of the finish, and then boom, just won. I think everyone was pretty surprised. Like, wasn't really expecting me to win, but it was a good match. Yeah, I was really happy with that. With Justin, and like we've had other matches in GBYWN. I don't think we could really recreate the chemistry that we did that day.
Yeah. It's like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Lightning in a bottle, for sure.
So, during this time, WCW is going on, but eventually we get to Aussie Anarchy 2014, the one show we had in 2014.
One and only.
I think DJ's booking.
Yes.
And he put me and you in a tag match against Jack and Dynamo.
Yeah. Completely out of the blue. Just put us two together. We've never crossed paths or had anything to do with each other in ICWS, and just suddenly put the tag team against. Were they still Tate at this point?
No, they split up a team because they were saying that the tag division wasn't going to be happening anymore. So they just came out as single wrestlers and teamed together against me and you, and I didn't like the idea. I didn't want them to do it. I thought there's a better way to utilise everyone involved on that show.
Yeah.
Even though at the time there weren't really any storylines anymore because it had been so long since the previous show that it couldn't really continue anything.
I think the only storyline that went into that show was Ice and Low.
Yeah. The whole Low thing with SPWS was the only
real
storyline which was still going. other than that, yeah, it was a good show. A show of just matches, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously my input in the match was basically all I did was hit moves and I didn't take anything.
I'm pretty sure you also announced what move you want to hit as well.
Yeah, every single time. I guess I wasn't taking it too seriously because I wasn't happy with the booking of that match. And I mean, at that stage, for me personally, the last few shows that had happened at ICWS, I wasn't happy with how I was being booked. I thought, like, where's my story? There's no story. But, it is what it is. And as it stands right now, that was the last ICWS show, and it probably will be the last at the Z Arena. So, just some reflections and thoughts, Ryan, on your time in ICWS and what it did for you.
Well, before I go to that, I kind of wanted to say a couple of things about that last match.
Oh, sure.
'Cause, yeah, I thought that went, okay. It was the day after Resolution. I had stuff in my shoulder, but probably get into that. Probably later. I'm not sure.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, it was day after. Shoulder was fucked. First thing I said to Monet, as soon as we were planning backstage, do not go after my left shoulder.
Oh yeah, you had torn the shoulder.
Yep, taped the shoulder down, and we went to the match. About a few minutes in, Monet grabs my arm, starts stomping the fuck out of the shoulder.
It always seems to be that way when you specifically tell someone not to go after a body part.
It's like reverse. Is that reverse psychology? I'm not sure. No,
something.
It's just as soon as you tell someone to do something, they do the exact fucking opposite. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm actually injured, and my shoulder is that bad. I can't do much, and he's just stomping away.
I was surprised you got through the match, considering you'd...
Yeah, I was
what had you done to your shoulder the night before?
I literally popped it out of place.
Oh, man.
And it was, out of place for, a good, 15 minutes, and then you just pop back in by itself, and it was just bothering me, all day. And then just did this match, and it was, I was, such a workhorse in the match. But it was awesome, because, I did really well. Just out of the blue, just doing crazy shit. Smacking the shit out of Monet. Rusty and people just going nuts at us two being team. Would have been cool if we did that. We tried to do a doomsday device. It didn't go that well.
You missed the clothesline.
I just chipped him over the head. I was like, fuck. After everything we had done on the match, we fuck up the doomsday.
That's not where I did my part perfectly. Yeah. You just had to hit him in the chest.
Yeah.
That's alright though.
Yeah.
It was still a good tag match.
Yeah.
For what it was. So yes, as I previously asked, your thoughts and memories. How do you feel about ICWS and what it did for Ryan Tate?
ICWS as a whole, I thought it did really well for me. It was a really good time. I wish we could just have. We can't, but I just wish we could have more shows. But that's not gonna. There's no way now, at all. But yeah, it was just a really good time back then. I really some of my best memories, happiest memories, working with Alex. Just hell, even the matches with Jack was pretty good. I just looking back on it, I just really miss it. I wish we could just go back to that, but
yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, really good time.
In Australian backyard wrestling, the ICWS era. Unfortunately, it's over now. But who knows? DJ keeps talking about having more shows at his house. But I don't know if that's going to happen because he's been saying it for quite some time and it still hasn't happened. Still no plans in place, DJ. So
get on it, mate.
Yeah, get on it. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. It was still a great ride.
Yeah, definitely a great ride. The only thing I think I would have liked to do is kind of maybe have a title run, I guess. But no.
Yes, that would have been good.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, Ryan. Well, we'll end this part on the ICWS era of Ryan Tate. Thank you for this, and we'll get back onto it with the WZWA section of this interview, which I'm sure will be a lot longer, and there'll be a lot more to say.
Oh, hell yeah. That'll be great.
All right, thank you for listening to this podcast, and we will see you on the next podcast. Thank you very much from Aston Crude here on the GBYWN Australia podcast. farewell.